The next step you need to fill in order to complete your proposal is the restaurants tab. When you click on the restaurants tab, here we will see this blank page, and on the left we will see the list of the restaurants that are available in the database. In order to fill your restaurants, you have here two options. Import days. When we click on it, you will see that the day and the route are imported without any restaurant. And here we have to go one by one and fill for that certain day lunch and dinner. And here we have another option, import defaults. This option is available if you have attached already a restaurant in your route. There is a part in a route when you can attach the restaurants by default. So here, when we click on import defaults, we would see the list of the default restaurants. But of course, you can go one by one and delete or edit it or change the restaurant. But as we do not have any default attached restaurants, we will import days first. We click on it, and here we see our days and the route order that we have. But here we do not have any touch restaurants. We have to go day by day and add the restaurants. So here we have the day number, our route. Here we have this is lunch part. We have restaurant name, we have meal, and here when we have this restaurant contract, when we choose a meal, the cost will appear automatically, and here we will see this is the number of the contract, which is not editable and we cannot change it. And here we have optional column where we can mark our lunch as optional. It means that the lunch that is marked as optional will not be included in the package rate, but will be offered as optional service in the end of your proposal, a separate service with restaurant selling rate. So let's go and add, and we will see. So for the first day, we have airport arrival and transfer to the hotel. We do not have any included meal for this day. For the second day, we have a Man City tour. So here we would need to add lunch and dinner. And this is the dinner part with the same logic as lunch part. So we click on the edit part, and here you will see the fields that can be filled, and they're editable. So for Amman City Hotel, for example, any restaurant, and here we can add lunch or dinner. So when click on lunch, you will see that the restaurant name, meal, but in this case I will change it to be lunch, cost, and the reference number. This is the contract number of this Alibaba restaurant. And here, if I want to add this lunch as optional, I will click on this optional checkbox. And I want to add dinner at Captain restaurant. So lunch, dinner. Okay. Again, you will see the restaurant name for dinner, meal. You can change the meal here. You can add the restaurant here, but this is your restaurant advanced search. And here you can type by restaurant name, any keyword to be able to filter easily. This is cost, and here you will see the cost and currency. So it means that it's 50 US dollar. You will see the reference number. This is the contract number of this restaurant, and you cannot edit this because it comes from the database. And if you want to offer your dinner as optional, you click on the optionals checkbox and update. Here we have the same columns. You see recalculate this only this record, recalculate the whole restaurants tab, and you remember that here we have recalculate, which will this option will recalculate your whole quotation. And here we have delayed only this record. and here we can mark all and delete all together. And if we want to add another line, another day, or pre uh, arrival, so you can add any line. But as you import your days, and so this is easier to be able to not to add all these days one by one. You import days, and the rules that are in your program tab will be imported here, and then you have to go and decide which restaurants you're going to offer lunch and dinner, if it is included or optional. So again, the same, you click on it, you add lunch, okay, and we do not have dinner here, then it means I can leave it as empty. So on this day we have only lunch. When you do not want dinner or any of them, and you have only one meal here included, then you can just leave this part empty. Again, for the next day we will is there in we can filter by city. Here we can offer or a lunch in Petra, but we can filter by city name. So, for example, if we are going to have lunch at Basin restaurant, and here I will choose lunch. Here you will see that the restaurant exists in the database, but the meal rate is not included. Here we can choose the meal, and we can add the rate manually. And here our reference number will be box will be empty because we do not have a contract. Okay, and if the restaurant already has a contract, and here you have, for example, $22 by default attached, you can here manually change the rate if you want to sell it a bit cheaper, if you have special rate for only this quotation, or you know that this is peak season, to be on the safe side, you would like to add uh, more. So you can add it manually. You can change the restaurant name, restaurant meal, change the rate manually, and even if the rate is not in the system, you can add it manually. So this is the restaurant tab, and of course we save before proceeding with the next tab. But here, just to remember that we have two options to import days only or import default, and it depends on the database whether you have already default attached restaurants to the routes. So if you have, then you will have already the restaurants, but again you can go delete it or amend it. We add any record from here. We click on edit, and we'll see the fields that we can fill. Restaurant name, meal, and this is the lunch part, and this is the dinner part with the same column. Here you will see the meal, we see the cost, reference number, the restaurant contract, and if you want to offer this meal as optional or not. So if it is optional, you check this checkbox. This is dinner and this is lunch. So we click save, and that's it for the restaurants tab. Thank you.